lives of every single American for months and years to come. But before I show you the loophole that's now helping thousands of people raise their scores, get new credit, and protect themselves in an emergency, first we need to consider a few startling facts happening in the world around us. Fact number one, our financial lives are in great danger. A danger none of us have ever faced before. Fact number two, the news and world events are not getting better fast enough. Fact number three, you can still save yourself and your family. It's clear to me you're committed to finally waking up from this horrible credit nightmare. I'm going to share with you a secret so powerful, your credit will never have to be a problem for you, ever again, no matter how bad your history is. You see, after I escaped the credit industry, I got a job in sales working for an online e-commerce company. A few months after I started there, the company flew me out to a conference in San Diego, California. One night while I was there, I got to talk with another sales rep at the hotel lobby bar. His name was Scott Hilton. And as we were there chatting and having a few drinks, the topic of my previous job came up. We were a bit tipsy now, and Scott started telling me something he probably wouldn't normally tell a total stranger. What I didn't know at the time was that this very conversation would change both our lives and the lives of thousands of others forever, including yours. He told me the story of how he had moved from Seattle to Hollywood with the hopes of becoming an actor. He went to auditions all day, took acting classes at night, but it never worked out as he planned. He couldn't land a role. And during this time, he ran out of money. He was living on his credit cards. So he was forced to give up his dream of becoming an actor and get the sales job. The problem was, when the bills came due, there wasn't enough money to pay off the balances he had racked up. So he wound up getting deep in debt, and many of his accounts had gone to collections. He was living paycheck to paycheck and trying to pay everything off, but the balances just weren't going down no matter what he tried. Every time he made a payment, they'd pile on more fees and interest charges. All of the hidden fees that were originally buried in small print were now larger than life. It was literally killing him to work so hard and be under so much stress. His anxiety got to the point where he could barely even go out in public anymore because his nerves were so shot. Forced into taking all sorts of depression and anxiety medication, Scott was on the verge of a major breakdown. $52,000 in the hole, and every penny he made was being funneled to these billion-dollar banks who couldn't care less about him or his situation. They just wanted their money, and they wanted it now. These arrogant banksters making billions, just bleeding people like you, me, and Scott dry of all of our hard-earned cash, robbing us of our livelihoods, while they ride around in limousines wearing $3,000 suits, eating at fancy restaurants every night, all paid for by money yanked right out of our pockets and paychecks. And what do we get? What do we get for paying their way to living the high life? Harassing phone calls and letters threatening to freeze our assets, that's what. Night sweats wondering how we're going to stretch the paycheck to cover the rent this month. High blood pressure from all the frustration and stress. Constant arguments with our spouses over money. Our own private hell. That's what we get. And Scott had been pushed to the brink of a financial cliff and was about to throw himself over the edge. The pressure was just too much for him, having all this hanging over his head day after day. So he did the only thing he thought he could do. He went online and found a bankruptcy lawyer, and he had an appointment with him the following week. Wait, don't do that just yet, I told him. I felt awful. I knew his pain. I had talked to hundreds of working class people just like him over the years who were just trying to get by. And my cold, scripted answer to their pleas was, go get your checkbook. But when this opportunity presented itself, I knew it was the universe offering me a chance to redeem myself. I knew I must help Scott get out of this desperate situation his creditors had forced him into. I told him to call me when he got home from the conference, and I'd show him a safe and 100% legal credit secret almost no one who isn't in the credit industry knows that can raise your credit scores in less than 30 days without filing bankruptcy and ruining your credit for the next 10 years, paying an outrageous fee to some law office to handle your debts for you, putting your faith in some fly-by-night credit repair service who might even ruin your credit for life or even get you sued, talking to any creditors or collectors on the phone yourself, having to know anything about credit laws or anything having to do with them. I call it my smart money secret. And not only is it completely safe, but it's 100% legal. It has nothing to do with cheating, lying, or doing anything shady. And it's different than anything you've ever seen or tried before. I'm going to show you how you can use my secret for yourself to get rid of charge-offs, late payments, liens, judgments, score-crushing inquiries, even past bankruptcy, and raise your credit score so high you'll soon have letters filling your mailbox from companies begging to give you financing for anything you desire, at rates lower than you've ever seen before. You see, this smart money secret is based on a loophole within how the credit system was designed. A loophole that can't ever be closed because it actually takes the fact that these credit companies are so big and so powerful and turns it around in your favor. And like I said, it's all 100% legal and ethical. Here's exactly how it works and why you've never heard of this before. Buried in the volumes upon volumes of laws within our legal system, there are two little known but very important federal regulations most people don't know about. They are the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, FDCPA, and the Fair Credit Reporting Act, FCRA. These laws are hundreds and hundreds of pages long, all full of complicated, confusing legal mumbo-jumbo even a seasoned attorney could barely understand. But not long ago, some credit industry insiders discovered something shocking. A loophole within the laws which can allow you to eliminate your negatives permanently and raise your credit score faster and easier than ever. What was this loophole? Well, you see, what they found buried within the pages of these two laws is quite possibly the most powerful 11-word phrase ever spoken. These 11 words, when used in exactly the right way, activate a powerful credit protection mechanism that can instantly stop all the harassing phone calls and rapidly melt away all the bad marks on your report. All you have to do is use these 11 words correctly, and you can literally free yourself from the shackles of bad credit. No matter what you've heard about credit repair in the past, I can guarantee you it had nothing to do with these magical 11 words. Because until now, the secret was known only by a very small group of people on the inside, those who have seen behind the curtain of the credit industry. The best part is, anyone can use it, no matter how bad your credit is, even if you have liens, judgments, charge-offs, late payments, and even if you've had past bankruptcy. This is a proven legal loophole that can never be fixed. And these banks, credit card companies, and bureaus would do just about anything to keep this whole thing a secret. But all that ends today. Because, you see, about a week after I got back from the conference, Scott gave me a call and asked me to show him how all this worked. At first, he was skeptical, which I totally understood. We've all been told by so-called credit help experts they can fix our credit. That is, if you pay them a hefty fee. But the reality is, most of those companies are nothing but liars and scam artists. Many of them were exposed in the lawsuits filed by West Virginia and several other states against national law firms and attorneys engaged in debt settlement work. But you see, this smart money secret is nothing like that. And it's completely above board. So over the next 60 minutes on the phone, I laid out my method for Scott as he took down a few pages of notes. He was shocked at how simple it seemed, which made him even more skeptical. Just try it out, I told him. You're about to meet with a bankruptcy lawyer and ruin the next 10 years of your financial life. What have you got to lose? Well, he couldn't argue with that. So over the next 30 days, he did exactly as I told him. He kept me updated on his progress via email. Then one day, my phone rang. I cannot believe it. Sure enough, it was him, sounding happier than I'd ever heard him. I got 12 negative accounts completely removed, every single one of them. I can't believe it happened so fast. One company even sent me a $1,000 check and an apology letter. I was stunned. I knew this would work to get negatives removed. But a check and an apology? This was more powerful than I thought. Then he said, I just got my girlfriend started on this too. Her credit is even worse than mine. I told him to keep me updated and wished him luck. Then one morning I logged into my Facebook and I saw that Scott had added me as a friend and sent me a message. There wasn't any text, just this picture. It was Scott's girlfriend, Allison, the same one he told me had even worse credit than he did, proudly standing next to her brand new Range Rover and a brand new Maserati. I couldn't believe it. I called him up right away. I had to get the full story. Yeah, man, he said. I don't think you really know the power of that credit thing you showed me. Alice and I started using it, and it was working really well to remove all the negatives. Her score went from 588 to a whopping 781 in only 90 days. But seeing how well this worked, they decided, why not try their luck getting some new cars financed with their new squeaky clean credit? So they went to the dealership, and sure enough, it worked. They were able to get a 4.9 interest rate on a Tier 1 loan, and thanks to this loophole, they each bought the car of their dreams in the very same week. Upon hearing this, my jaw nearly dropped to the floor. I knew this secret was good, but I had no idea it had this kind of power. And I was amazed at not only how well it worked, but how fast it had worked for them. I mean, we're talking about a matter of only 12 weeks here. 588 to 781 was incredible. And from that, we learned this powerful smart money secret could not only clean up your past credit history, but this amazing secret can even enable you to start finally buying yourself the things you've always wanted. Finally treating yourself to the little luxuries in life. Giving yourself gifts you desire and deserve. The most important of these gifts being freedom. Freedom from harassing phone calls and the stress of being buried up to your eyeballs in debt you would never be able to pay off. Freedom to get the absolute best interest rates and the best credit terms on anything you buy. And finally becoming a member of the small elite group of people in this world who don't have to worry about crippling debt and who will never be a slave to the greedy, bottom-feeding banksters ever again. And before Scott and I hung up on the phone that day, he had said something that wound up being the very reason you are here watching this video right now. He said, everyone who has bad credit or debt needs to learn this trick. And I knew he was right, which is why I recorded this presentation. For you. Because Scott and I have now joined forces and made it our life's mission to show as many people as possible how to finally take control of their credit, raise their scores higher than they've ever been before. Because by teaching